Welcome along, Diane.
Thank you, Bill, and it's wonderful to be here on this wonderful morning in Melbourne.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to mention that I actually wrote this talk for Brisbane for a couple of weeks ago. And since then, I've read a new book, a great book by Dr. Melanie Dean, who was on the Board of Trustees for Unity Headquarters, so unity.org. And the book's called The Hidden Power of Emotions. I couldn't believe how well it fitted into my talk. So I've rewritten it a bit for you and added in some information from Dr. Dean. And it helped me understand more about energy and the waves it creates and how we spend it and how importantly we can co-create with it. So that's the talk today, co-creating in our real spending. You know, I love Unity in the teachings for prosperity and abundance. And we often speak of abundance in all areas of life, not just about money and wealth. Learning about affirmations, how to form them and repeat them, about believing in them, having faith, trusting in the right outcomes of our affirmations, our desires, our goals, and our life in general. Trusting in divine order and divine timing. Unity teaches us that affirmations are words stated with conviction and belief. Words we say with feeling. Once we have become aware of the issue, the challenge, and then stated our denial in any power in that thought and feeling that is holding us back, we engage with our affirmations. Along the path of our Unity journey, we have many who have created vision boards, goals, and held their secrets, their desires to support achieving them. And lots of stories of successes. Jobs with increased income, relationships repaired, even new relationships and sometimes marriage. And some, they're about health and wellness, and there are stories of recovery with those. So today I'd like to suggest that this is not always successful. There, in fact, are as many who do not achieve their affirmations as there are those who do. Yet we all invest in this process, this belief in what we're doing, that is learned process. A learned process to create the desired result. We, in fact, invest much time and effort into this process. Today, I'm going to challenge you on what you think about and what your real spending is. I'm asking you to consider, what are we really spending? In that journey of discovery, what is our real spending? We have invested to achieve these wonderful successes, or sometimes not achieve them and have challenges. I've mentioned our words and feelings. I've mentioned our awareness, which I believe implies we have at least started a journey into ourselves and our soul and our spirit self. Whenever I start on this topic of consciousness, I seem to float back to the wonderful information that I got from Dr. Bruce Lipton, teaching about our bodies being pure energy. In fact, our bodies and our thinking are energy, electrical energy. Some time back, I explained about one of his theories where each cell of our body is like a battery. There's the positive and the negative charge. The inside of the cell is the negative, and the outside of the cell is the positive. Polar ends like a battery. Basically, every living cell in our body is about 1.4 volts, which you consider the whole 50 trillion living cells in our body, that's around 70 trillion. I mean, 70 trillion volts of energy. We are energy, and we could light up a city. I get really curious when I hear things like that. What does that mean for us as human beings in everyday life? This is clearly more than physical. I mean, volts. Electricity is that funny thing. You cannot see it, but when you turn it on, the light switch comes on. So somehow it's there. When you plug in the toaster, it cooks the bread. Of course, there's that funny saying about it can cook the man or it can cook the man's dinner. And what is it doing in our body? Like, why is it in my body or in your body? Well, just like on that light switch, the energy is spent. And so it is with us. All we are doing is spending energy, our energy. Some of it runs our body, but some of it engages with the energy outside of us. As Dr. Melanie Dean explained, we don't even see 95% of the energy we create, and thereby we spend. What is energy spending? What is energy receiving? You see, we also learned in science that energy transmutes. It doesn't go anywhere or disappear. It simply changes. Remember when you were in high school, in those first early science experiments, and you learned about ice and then water and then steam, all changed by energy? Caroline Myss, in her book Defy Gravity, Healing Beyond the Bounds of Reason, a book about healing and the change that happens when a person really achieves full healing and health. She says if we're stuck in the beliefs of gravity in the 3D world of materialism and physical happening external to us, we don't see beyond that gravity to real possibilities. It is the connection to spirit, a connection to the sacred, the real experience of it, that can take abilities we may not ever have previously noticed. What is our real spending? Are we full-time in the suffering that is the gravity of our world, our physical world? Or what soul part of us that takes us to divine possibilities? Possibilities like real healing, like really knowing health and well-being. You know, I have a mentor for advice on my own health. And I've been connected with this group and for over 20 these health mentors we had. She said to me one day that most people do not know, ever experience that full high levels of health and well-being. The thing is, everything I spend my energy on and my money of, say, ice cream or some other sugar item, I remember her words and realize I've not considered my real spending, the impact on real energy and my connection with spirit that is calling me to a healthier wisdom. Caroline Myss talks about how life immediately changes from an external world full of people and chaos to a sacred field of grace. Aren't they beautiful words? A sacred field of grace, in which all life has purpose and meaning. Her book talks about prayer, a lot about prayer and meditation, about moving through those dark times of our lives to experience grace. Grace in all its forms. So what is it we're spending and what is it we're receiving? Gravity, we learn and we understand about because we live it. However, our experience in that is one of suffering. Yes, we are suffering because that gravity holds us down. We cannot reach the magic of divine possibilities in full opportunity while we're only living in this gravity. And yes, it's suffering. Human beings live with suffering, mostly unspoken, unconsidered, even unaware of it as we are. However, what are our main thoughts during the day? What is our focus of our daily life or of our tomorrows? Do you consider that relationship interaction or how you could even get even with it? Or the challenge, or to challenge them so that you can have control, so you can satisfy your control need. Do you feel pain in your body or in your heart? Are you counting that, looking to pass that pain onto someone else? Do you feel stressed? One of the most common gravity feelings. Do you feel loss of a friend or family and now want to get that person back? Even in our concepts of God, our concepts of right and wrong, of being first, that idea that God is the only one, our concept is the only one. Sometimes when I listen to others discuss or talk about their health and what the doctors say, I wonder what other options were available for healing for this person. More, I wonder if they even inquire about options. So what is our real spending? What gravity 3D thinking are we sucked into? As we start to think of all of the things in our lives that our energy is spent on during each day, each moment, we might realize we are spending it in the wrong direction. Gravity 3D thinking and feeling is holding us in a world of suffering, and we spend a lot of energy, a lot of our life force living in it. Caroline Mace states, the people I know who have experienced healings told me that they were able to detach from their pre-existing images of God. Indeed, they managed to detach from everything, their wounds, their need to be right, their need to win, their need to know why things happen as they did in their lives. She says, ultimately, healing is the result of a mystical act of surrender, an awakening that transcends any religion. It is an intimate dialogue of truth between the individual and the divine. And then, of course, I read Dr. Dean's book, The Hidden Power of Emotions, where she explains with diagrams even how our energy from our feelings create waves of energy. With all the electricity in our bodies, our thoughts and feelings, particularly our feelings, are that energy. Here's what Dr. Dean says. We are co-creating. By the emotions we engage in that creates waves of energy, of vibration, that externally meet with those waves of energy at a lower level. And those waves seek out that lower level, those feelings of sad, anger, fear. We create in us these waves of energy, and they move out around us. And when they match and attract that wave of sadness or anger or fear that exists around us, we attract that to us more, creating the negative environment to come closer to us. We co-create this negative experience in the external world around us. Of course, Dr. Dean explains then the importance of really understanding our energy, our spending through our emotions. That allows us to co-create a much brighter, happier, loving world around us. This idea of such power in these energy waves from our emotions. And the best we can do is start to really focus on our feelings. She speaks of feeling safe, feeling happy, feeling calm, feeling peaceful, particularly on keeping our emotions above the line of the low level ones that do not serve us. Co-creating has been an interest. And I've wondered exactly how do we do it? How do I do it? How do I co-create? How do we achieve it? So here are some steps that I've got to help, that I got from Dr. Dean's book, to help identify your spending in energy and to start to co-create consciously. So number one, don't fast forward through the challenging times. Take your time, experience them, get to know yourself in those times. Really feel those feelings. Don't brush them aside or put them down or, put out those words, I'm fine or I'm okay. Allow yourself to really feel them. Maybe the fear or the loss of a job or a person. You need to really experience those, face them, don't push them down. Feel the disappointment or feel being afraid or sad or angry. And then maybe you can use going for a walk or journaling or use music to really feel those emotions. Maybe talking to a friend helps. However, the suggestion is to put a timer on that. Use your phone, use a clock, use whatever works for you, but set a timer and allow yourself to really experience those emotions. And feel them in short bursts of time with this timer, and then let them go. Put them aside for a while. Release them. You can go back and do this as often as you need until you no longer want to go back and feel that way, and the releasing is done. So setting a timer on your emotions, allowing yourself to experience them. Don't push down those challenging times, but keep them in short bursts. Set a timer on that sadness. So step 2 is about getting comfortable then with mixed emotions. Releasing feelings you don't want. Finding a way to use a quiet time to decide what feelings come as mixed feelings. Let's have an example. So, love and sadness, when there's a loss of a relationship or a person, you have both of those feelings at the same time. So the best idea is to go back to the timer in number 1 and set times to experience that sadness, that feeling of loss, whatever else comes up in your feelings for that. When the timer goes off, you release all of that and let it go. And then you focus on the love. Remember, these are mixed emotions we have over the same event. So focusing on the love and letting that be what carries you forward. So take some time today or this week to sit down and decide what feelings you want to be having in your life. And then acknowledge what you don't want. Feel them, let it go, give thanks that they came up, and then focus on what you do want. And in our world today, focusing on love and calm and peace and feeling safe and feeling happy are great emotions, but you may have some others that you wish to really want to experience and enjoy. Maybe enthusiasm and laughter and fun and feelings around those activities. Take some time this week, home play. I like to set your home play. Take some time with yourself this week to quietly sit down, and instead of doing desires around goals you want to have or things you want to achieve, just spend some time with those feelings, deciding what your mixed emotions experiences might be, like loss, where you have two sides of that experience. Work out what feelings you do want to have. Acknowledge the ones you don't. Let them go. Think about where your energy is going and where you're spending it. So that was step 2. So number 3, focus on your highest desire. That is, set your desire and purposely focus on what you want. And then focus on the feelings you want. We've created those ideas in step 2. So co-creating is about bringing these two things together. Engaging in the feelings you want, feeling those feelings, really experiencing them. And then in that moment, thinking about your desire, your goal, or your outcome you're looking for. And bringing those two things together is really about co-creating. When you are spending time with you, allowing the emotions that you want to experience in your life to come up from whatever thoughts help you feel that way. And in this moment, you visualize your desire. This connects the waves of emotion, the waves of energy, to the visual image of your desires and to the waves of energy around us. And as you continue to do this each day, these waves of energy start to sync with the waves of energy matching your desire. Your desire is out there. It's looking for you, and it also has waves of energy. However, we need to move away from those feelings that we don't want to actually match into bringing our desire to us. So as these waves sync more strongly, this is when your guidance is at its best. This is when you listen to the guidance and you take action. And when you are drawing that desire to you, you are co-creating. You're co-creating with your inner spirit and your outer spirit, matching your energy, spending this in the focus of your desires, and in turn receiving back the energy with manifesting the experience connected to your desire. This is co-creating and our real spending. So, going to take a moment now to move into a meditation. And again, I've spoken of love. I'm very aware that Valentine's Day is coming up. So we're going to take that feeling of love and take that into our meditations this morning. So if everybody would like to